Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Feeling a little bit, a little bit better today, I suppose. Anyways, plenty to talk about as Bitcoin does put in both the 3-day and the weekly closure for CMEs yesterday, and also a regular 3-day closure for spot price action as well, as I struggle to get out my words after a very terrible night of sleep. But with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. I feel like I missed that yesterday. Anyways, let's put the folks over here in the Krown Chain application, which you found at app.krownchain.net. And I already forgot. I have to make an announcement. Yes, that's right. If you're trying to get into the Discord, what I've done is I've made a video that is going to be the channel video for this channel, and if you just go to the channel homepage, assuming that you're subscribed, it should be right there. And that's probably like the time where you should also say, don't forget to like and subscribe and smash that fucking bell, smash your face, smash your dog, and smash everyone in your fucking life, and also your girlfriend, and that'd be good. Anyways, Jesus Christ, man. All right, so feeling a little bit better after that. Anyways, looking at the Krown Chain application, what do we see? We do see that the open interest actually coming down a little bit from yesterday to today, but still more importantly, we do see that big boost up as Bitcoin did break the critical region of 15.8 a few days ago, giving that upside bias in the short, medium, and long-term time frames, essentially for another move into the deeper $16,000 region, of which we've seen a good portion of that already. But with the advent of CMEs closing for the 3-day and weekly yesterday, that is going to drive the bias coming into this next week. And I don't want to spoil the surprise just yet, but well, you can probably already guess. Anyways, looking at the Bitcoin dominance, sitting at around 64.5% as well. I believe that's come down a bit as Bitcoin does essentially range at the top, and given a chance for the altcoins to kind of catch up. But I do want to check out the Bitcoin dominance chart, perhaps today, definitely tomorrow, and we'll see exactly how much time we have. Fear and greed index also popping up 1 point from an 89 to a 90. And what do we see over here on the data tab with all these cardinals in the coal mine trying to do all sorts of things, letting us know if there's any sort of issues with what's currently going on. This is obviously a data feed issue. This is not relevant, or sorry, this is not related to reality right now. Unfortunately, it is a known issue, and we're working on it. Looking at the funny rate down here, what do we see? We actually see OKX still posting a negative rate, which is very bizarre. Still dealing with legal issues as far as I'm aware, as well as, or sorry, if you're not familiar with that, apparently the one person who processes withdrawals for the whole exchange of OKX, which I find a little bit difficult to believe, is currently in custody with the Chinese authorities. So take that as you will. Anyways, BitMEX, Huobi, Bybit, Binance, and Durabit all posting 0.01%, not anything too crazy or anything to be concerned about. Even FTX, while it does show quite a girthy one right here, just 0.04%. And with that said, we don't really see anything that's of too great of interest right here. So with that in mind, let's go into the actual price action charts themselves. We'll start off with the secondary charts today, and of course, checking in on where CMEs closed. Remember, for the last couple of days, this was really giving the buys coming into this next week of price action. And while this does not necessarily relate to what we're going to be looking at over the weekend, of course, today and tomorrow being Saturday and Sunday, it does help set in the buys coming into Monday, or essentially when CMEs open back up. And seeing as both the 3-day and the weekly, to spoil surprise right here, has closed above the top side Trollender band, I would be looking for this one to try again for some new highs coming into next week. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to be like a straight shot up. There are a few, not just few, but there are plenty of warning signals as we're going to look at on the spot price action. But I still want to see CMEs kind of line up for them, and yes, that will essentially drive in the bias. That yes, still looking for highs on this run to be printed, and tentatively speaking, those targets still essentially hold the same. Actually, CMEs has a pretty damn good one here as well. You can see that it's the last high before the dooms drop in 2018 right here. Oh, I guess I already have a nice little liquid zone in there. Beautiful. In the upper $16,000 region. Also have this measure move right here, which points a little bit further north into the $17,000 region as well. But I do think that that's a little bit less, a little bit less forthright here. I like to take the more muted approach because I do think that Bitcoin is getting a little bit more frothy on the higher term timeframes here. Now, I keep on seeing around the board that a lot of people are saying, but everyone thinks that Bitcoin's gonna play out a big down around $17,000. I'm uncertain of that. I'm uncertain of when that being what literally everyone thinks, because we all have the issues of being stuck in our own sort of echo chambers, of course. And then two, this is why I do pay attention to some like the Trollender bands, especially on CMEs right here, because as long as we are closing above the top side Trollender bands, I'm not going to be calling a high on this run, while I'm tentatively looking for a high somewhere in the upper 16, low $17,000 region to be put in maybe over the next few weeks. I would still be bullish, cautiously bullish that is, as long as Bitcoin's closing above the top side of this on at the very least a 3-day and preferably the weekly, and both of them are flying high and mighty right there. So I'm looking for continuation as long as that criteria is met. And with that said, I'd probably be looking for another swipe to the upside coming into this next week of trading action starting Monday, or I guess technically late Sunday for us in the Eastern European zone. I guess it's actually more like it might be like midnight for myself. Anyways, let's go into the actual spot action price and all right, let's just go over here. Okay, there we go. Anyways, regular charts over here, primary look, and we can look at the low-term timeframes for Bitcoin, and let's follow up on yesterday's price action analysis. I mean, realistically, we're just kind of ranging at the top after that nice breakout. The critical area is still 15.8. I put a significant amount of weight on as long as Bitcoin's above it. I essentially look at this as more or less bullish on the short, medium, and higher term timeframes. Obviously, all mediated by different things, but this one going to be governing the short and medium term timeframes. Now, of course, if Bitcoin does start to crash back down below 15.8 and close, more importantly, a 4-hour dildo below there, could we use a 2-hour as well? I believe we could. Yeah, we could use a 2-hour in this case, but 4 hours still going to hold a little more weight, of course. Then I would start to drive targets back down towards about 15,450, and then very likely a bounce there. If that area starts to fail, then we got a bigger problem, likely coming back down to the mid $14,000 region and retesting this area somewhere around 14.7, we'll call it, and that would really start to look like a big top being put in, looking for one of those greater pullbacks to the tune of 20, 30, maybe even 40%. So as it is right now, again, that's not actually what I'm looking for right now, to be fair. Looking at the 4-hour right here, as far as momentum oscillators go, what do we see? We do see 4-hour stokes coming back down. However, we do have the trend line of peace and prosperity coming in right here. That's protecting right against the edge of the bullish control zone as well, which is pretty damn good as far as I'm concerned with that. And I would be looking for it to at least give a try to kind of curl back around. And as long as Bitcoin's kind of sideways above 15.8, that's going to be considered a bullish reset and more or less constructive price action. I mean, it's hard to hate what I'm looking at right now. I'm sure a lot of people are going to call out the 4-hour jewel. This is not a sell signal in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, I've been getting a lot of questions about this from people in the jewel and also people not in the jewel, which is very bizarre. But more importantly, if you're looking for these signals to play out, if you don't see them on CMEs, they're unlikely to be the good ones. You do find some good ones that are on spot price action that aren't on CMEs, but if you're just trying to play it as by the book as possible, CMEs is the one that's going to show. And actually, CMEs is putting in one right now. But does that, how long does that take to play out? Looking at referencing the 12-hour and maybe even the daily here too. Yeah, I really want to see these ones to give like the full on reversal. 4 hours only going to be relevant for like a medium term time frame, but a 12-hour and daily could call the top of this next run. And while they are signaling warning, plenty of warning actually, and they will extremely likely line up for like a perfect sell signal. Maybe this next week. It's possible. Yes. I still wouldn't be looking for like the big bad one, so to speak. Anyways, back down and over here, and let's go down to the low-term timeframes once again. 4-hour RSI, I still look at this as short-term bearish, as we spoke about yesterday, likely to come back down into the midst of the neutral zone, but long-term, as far as a long-term 4-hour look goes, I still look at this as constructive and likely to work its way back up into the bullish control zone. So basically what I'm saying is maybe short-term a little bit of downside, but ultimately I would be looking for that to get picked up. And what better time to do such fuckery activity on a weekend when no one's paying attention? And the books are typically a lot more flimsy, and it's a lot more easy to do all sorts of bizarre shit with them. That's why you typically see those wick parties over the weekend. Anyways, looking at 4-hour historical volatility percentile, did try a bit of a move yesterday, but of course the key was in the moving average on this. As long as it has a negative slope, I'm not really looking for like a full-on prolonged expansion phase. And in this case right here, still coming down a little bit. We're still playing out a bit of contraction, and once we start to get back above that moving average, it gets positive slope, then I would really start to look for the next medium-term explosive move here. Looking at 3-hour, what do we see? We see that kind of in motion already, just kind of giving up my hand right here with the HBP. Yes, it is starting to get a positive slope, but I want to see it actually maintain above it for a slew, which probably does happen this coming week, if I had to guess. Looking at 3-hour Stokes, what do we see? Same sort of trend line coming in from the same sort of areas here too, which is good. Confluence, essentially, same areas. and 3-hour RSI. I basically have the same thing to say about this, except actually it's short term. It's actually a lot more bullish than the 4-hour RSI. Curious, do we have any divergences to be spoken of right here? No, caretakers isn't showing anything right now, but nope, that is a higher low, so fair enough. No, that would not be present. All right, fair enough. Good. Looking at the 2-hour right here. Oh, kitchens! Get your fucking kitchen fork fuckers out. Jesus Christ, man. Just go spoon yourself. That's how I talk to my girlfriend. Let's see. Buy hourly right here. Holy shit, that's loud. Buy hourly right here. What do we see? Nosediving a bit. So we do see a little bit of bifurcation between, or actually, no, we don't see bifurcation. We see all of them coming down thus far, 2-hour, 3-hour, and 4-hour. So no, they all are on the same side right now. However, buy hourly RSI, I believe, does tell the story. Again, short term actually probably does pop back up. So 2 and 3 hour actually do have a little bit of short-term upside. To be fair, historical volatility percentile, same thing here that we see on the 3 and 4 hour. Essentially, it's going to try. It's setting up, yes, but still needs to actually give a full-on signal for that next nice little move. Actually, I wouldn't be looking at this one. It's so little. I should be looking at this one. It's like to produce some some very interesting movements, we'll call it. And hourly Stokes actually all on the same side. So actually, all short-term momentum oscillators are pointed further south. We do see, however, hidden bullish divergence forming right now, and that would drive short-term targets back up towards 16,300-ish region, actually maybe even 16,350. And which one would I roll with on a weekend time? None. No. If I did have called this one right now, I'd be looking for a little bit of upside action, actually. That's what I would be looking for. Historical volatility percentile on the hourly is contracted all the way to 1, a full-on 1 read. Jesus Christ, man. So there you go. Very likely that we actually do see a move to the top side of the short-term range here, just based off that, with that hidden bullish divergence also being signaled off as well. So I'd be looking for this one likely come back and test around about 16.3 or 16.350. I don't have any greater opinions on top of that. It is a weekend after all. I don't really want to be calling like a big bad move over the weekend. And of course, I don't really think that, I mean, you can make a short-term downside range as well. It'd be on this area right here, 16.1 on an hourly close. Do I trust that over a weekend? Not really. Would I play that over a weekend? No, absolutely not. But if I had to chart it out, yes, that's what it would be, but that does not signal the ultimate downside. It's still 15.8. That's really like the next big warning signal. So with that in mind, I need to, motherfucker, where's my water? Found it. Yes, thank God for that. Oh, man. Man, oh man. All right, desperately needed that one. So yeah, short-term time frames, if I have to call them right now, I'd be looking for a pop back up. I guess we're already like $150 away maybe. Anyways, medium-term time frames as the dishes continue. Trying to figure out if she has headphones on or not. I don't know. Anyways, 12-hour, what do we see right here? 12-hour Stokes, still nice and erect. I don't think that I'll say it straight up. I highly doubt that this trend line, if it gets tested again, is going to hold. This trend line, basically a regression going all the way back from early September. I'm not doing this perfectly. It doesn't need to be perfect here. It's just, like I said, it's more of a regression. Technically speaking, if it comes back down, should I be looking at another bounce potentially off this trend line? That has been the trend for over 2 months now. Do I typically see these things work out in this fashion? Fuck no. Usually when it gets like this closed in, so to speak, that's when you actually do see it break the trend line. In that case, that will also likely be a damn good signal that we will be playing out the greater pullback sooner rather than later. But in this case right here, still nice and northwards. And of course, when it does come down, it will have a chance to catch this trend line, of course. But if I'm giving my personal opinion on that, which obviously is to be separated from the technical analysis, very rarely do I see something that's that aggressive actually work out. Maybe at most one more, but even that, I highly doubt it. But hey, man, my opinion's wrong all the time. So, at the end of the day, I want to actually see it work. 12-hour RSI, again, constructive within this region. Short-term, a little bit of downside, which is interesting because that does need to fit into the context of the short-term timeframes. But essentially, how to look at that is hourly, or sorry, the very short-term timeframes probably do produce that move to the upside of the short-term timeframe range, or top side of the short-term timeframe range, say 16.3 or 16.350, whatever it was. And then I'd be looking for the 12-hour to kind of flounder about a bit here, as long as as long as it's within the bullish control zone, I do look at this as still likely to give another try to the upside. Again, in line with what we saw in CMEs, which I imagine probably does line up sometime this coming week. In historical volatility percentile here is actually starting to contract a bit, actually significantly a bit. So medium-term timeframes are starting to really cool off here, and I imagine that the daily is probably still going, but that's going to be the next one to start to falter. And yeah, we do see daily Stoke still nice and north. Again, how often do we see it this deep in the critical zone for Bitcoin? Not that often, but it does happen, of course. And right now it still is to the north side as well. Daily Jewel is going to be lining up for a sell signal probably this coming week. Again, CMEs tell the story on this one, but it's getting close. And daily RSI, what do we see over here? Again, constructive, maybe another downtick, but overall, I'll be looking for this one to give another try higher. Long term, this is very, 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 very good. So, does that coincide with the next potential move to the upside? I would guess so, yes. Looking at historical volatility percentile, still expanding here, so fair enough. Daily is still in the process of trending, and that does fit into our narrative that we began with on CMEs, likely signaling that Bitcoin still has another move to the upside here. What about 2-day? Same thing, very good 2-day close that we saw, I believe, yesterday. Yeah, hey, not bad right there. In fact, I wouldn't even mind a move back down to test 15A. In fact, that would be a damn good opportunity for a nice little backfill. But still, I look at this as there's nothing bearish about closing on new highs. I'll put it that way. Buy daily Stokes going to start to cross down a bit here too. A little bit frothy there, to be fair, but fair enough. And 2-day RSI right here as well. Long term, very, 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 very good. Short term, definitely coming into a little bit of an overextension, but fair enough for right now. Probably good for one more move. Same thing with the 3-day as well. This is a very good 3-day closure right here. I'd probably give it one more swipe to the upside at the very least. 3-day Stoke's gonna absolutely open back up as well, and 3-day RSI. Again, getting a little bit in the critical zone right there. Gonna be facing some variation of bearish divergence, very likely. But for right now, no local high is confirmed, and no local high is going to be confirmed. At least within, even in 3 days would be extremely unlikely. 6 days would be the earliest time that I think is reasonably feasible. And then, of course, looking at the weekly here too, I don't think it's as important right now, just because we're going to see the closure tomorrow, of course. But CMEs have kind of already shown the way. But as long as we're within this region. I don't want to go through the full rigmarole today. We'll perhaps do that tomorrow. But I am looking at this as a historical area where Bitcoin, if it wants to play a pullback from this region, this at just around $17,000, and then your prior all-time high at about $19,000 to $20,000 would make some good areas for such action. Just historically speaking, as that is your big, bad, massive, nasty bull trap of 2018 right here, where Bitcoin price action shattered. Jesus Christ, like 65%, a few weeks after that. Pretty bad, pretty nasty, and that's usually going to be a signal right there. Also, it is the first time that we got our first lower high on a weekly on that whole run from 2015 to 2018 right here. So, at the end of the day, trend is your friend, and the trend, just the trend reversal on the weekly has gotten all the macro runs right on Bitcoin price action for the eternity of eternity, as crazy as that is. Anyways, okay, what else do we want to talk about? We're only 18 minutes into this bitch right now. We're not even a TA nerd session, but I don't know if there's gonna be much of a TA nerd session today. Do you need to kind of savor my voice as it's? I don't know. I think it's getting more on the raspy lesbian side today. Let's go check out Bitcoin dominance. Let's see what that one's doing. Saw that there were some dramas on this yesterday, or at least that's what I heard on the Twitters. And no, I don't see anything like that. Probably just bad prints. I saw someone was like saying that it was down around, I don't know, single digits or something. No, that's probably just, probably just a bad feed from TradingView. So I kind of span across different time frames. You don't really want to be looking on this thing, on anything less than, God forbid, a fucking daily to begin with. But even a weekly, realistically here, the trend is everything. I don't think that TA actually works on something like this. It's all trend, and right now. We're in the process of a macro reversal, and I do think that it will very likely will work its way up to the upper 60%. However, long term, I'd probably be looking for more. Probably does have a short term reversal at the upper 60s, to be fair. Anyways, how does that mark off for altcoins? Probably not too good. Probably not too good at all, in fact. But I do want to check out altcoins versus dollar first. Link. still, as long as we get weekly closures above 12.25, looking for 15 and then 16.5 long term. Low term time frames, a little bit nasty here. Not sure how much I feel about this, but looking at the daily, the daily's fine. Short term time frames, no opinion. Daily still short term bullish, back up to about just under $14, we'll call it, and probably more after that. I imagine that probably coincides with the weekly closure as well, and that will initiate those further targets into the $15 and $16.5 region. So Link's still looking good versus dollar. Versus Bitcoin though, I don't know. Should we talk about it? We can talk about it really quickly right here. Pretty bad, pretty fucking bad. About to see daily momentum also just turn back to the south side. It looks like, actually, it's not quite there just yet, but it is getting close. And I'd probably be having a target back down to about 67,000 satoshis, maybe beyond. What else do we got? Cardano unched, but that's just because it's gone down so much that it can't handle anymore. Looking at the 4 hour right here, down, daily, down, weekly, down, monthly, down. Invert the chart, down. No. Yeah, still bad. All right, just doing the daily rounds on our Cardano, making sure that everything's right in this universe. What do we have on? Sorry, I apologize if anyone does take that offensively. I'm not saying that against anyone in particular. I would never, or in this case, I would not like fucking judge someone based off of that, obviously. But as far as charts go, terrible chart, absolutely terrible chart. Good chart, very good chart right here with Mr. Buterol. Still stick with my $500 target. Looking at the weekly right here, getting pretty damn close here too. Actually, yesterday swiped up to 40, or no, that was not yesterday. That must have been, no, that was yesterday. No, it was 478, almost 479. Fair enough. This one's still looking good here. I'd still essentially be bullish on this one. It's kind of at the final of the final from your last prior high right there, but I really don't even care what it does today, as long as it closes above, let's call it 450 tomorrow on Sunday. I'd be looking for this run to extend above 500 actually over the next few weeks. So I do quite like this one, and of course the monthly I think tells the full picture that this is a very good chart right here. This is a very good chart, and I could very easily extend monthly targets to 700 over the next few months, assuming that November closes just anywhere above about 430 or 440. We still got a few weeks left in the trading month to get through, but yes, things are set up quite nice here. Short-term time frames, I don't have much to make out of this. I really like to step away from doing these things on the weekend. If I did have to call it, this is a bit of a rising wedge right here, and I'd probably be looking for a move back down to 450. Do I feel like that? Do I trust that? Would I trade that? Fuck no. All higher time frames are bullish here, and not just a little bit bullish, they're quite bullish actually, as it is. Let's go check in on NASDAQ futures. How did we do yesterday? I think we just called a move to 12,000 and that was it. That's it. We did close below 12,000 at the end of the day though, so it does make coming into next week a little bit more difficult, but if I have to call it right here, I'd still probably be looking for some upside. Making new all-time highs is not really bearish, although we didn't make new all-time highs to be fair, so it's gonna have a chance, yes, but still looking at the monthly, I do like it. Long term, I like it. Daily had a decent closure. I'd be looking for this one to pop back up towards 12.1 to open up next week, and then come back to it after that. What about SPY futures? Probably the same thing, if I had to guess. Oh, actually a lot better. Ooh, this one does tell the story. Ooh, nice one. Oh, sweet. Oh, this is great. This is excellent right here. Yeah, this makes it a lot more easy. I'd be looking for new upside on this one. I'd be looking for new all-time highs maybe in the next couple of weeks on SPY. And NASDAQ's probably going to fall on that one as well, if I had to guess. What else do we want to look at? I think maybe that might even be it. I want to keep this video a little bit shorter for the weekend because, well, you got shit to do. And I don't, but but I can pretend that I do. Anyways, looking at the very low term time frames right here, if I have to call it right now, I probably would be looking for a short term move back up towards like 16.3 or 16.350. I really don't feel too comfortable calling much on a weekend on the short term time frames. The big news was on the 3-day and weekly closure for CMEs that we saw over here. That would drive my bias towards looking for new highs on this run, likely sometime this coming week. However, as we spoke about, out on a lot of the medium and upper time frames as well. There's a lot of warning signals that at the very least are coming to a medium-term time frame high relatively soon, and I'd even call this medium-term time frame high if Bitcoin does keel on over here and starts to close 4-hour dildos, especially below about 15.8. That would drive short-term targets back down to about 15.450. Small bounce there likely implied, with potential continuation all the way down to about 14.7. But I'd want to see that one in real time before I actually do really get into it. For right now, I'd just be basically looking for a little bit of sideways, a little bit of up, set it up for next week, and then we'll talk about the critical areas when they become a little bit more relevant. And like I said, below 15.8, that will be a big warning signal. But for right now, Bitcoin, healthy $350 above, that can be spit out in just 5 seconds, as everyone here knows. But with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. Take care, and until next time.